Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. This is Judge Angela Tucker. She is a judge in Collins County, Texas, and she's facing intense backlash after she lowered Karmelo Anthony's bond from $1 million to $250,000. And Karmelo Anthony is the young man who was involved in the tragic, who was involved, and Karmelo Anthony is the young man that was involved in that tragic incident in Texas where one young man lost his life. She lowered the bail from $1 million to $250,000. His family was able to post bail, and now he's at home with his family. But the MAGA crowd is very upset. They want him to stay in jail forever. I think some of them would be happy if he didn't even have a trial. Just send him straight to whatever they do to execute somebody, all because of their emotional state, all because they're upset. Well, it's enough to be upset about. It was a tragic situation. But even so, that's why we have laws in this country. For when things happen unexpectedly and a judgment has to be made about what the right thing to do is. And somebody has to make that decision, but that decision needs to be made on the precedent of the seriousness of the crime, flight risk, whether or not you're at risk of skipping out of the city, the state, or the country, and whether or not you have a criminal history. If you don't have a criminal history, you are not at risk of leaving the country, or you didn't do a premeditated murder on 10 people, then your bail shouldn't be set so high that you can't get out until your court date comes up, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to go to court, and that's when whether or not you're guilty or not guilty will be decided. Anytime somebody's life is lost, it's serious. But if it's premeditated, the heinousness of it, all of that has to go into how bail is set. This judge took all of that into consideration and determined that he was not a flight risk, he did not have a criminal history, and it was not a premeditated murder. So she lowered the bail, and there's a segment of the American community that is just infuriated to the point that her life is now being threatened and she's had to increase her security, all because she's going by the precedents of the law. This lady is to be commended because this was not a popular decision on her part. I believe that the county that she serves is predominantly white, and they are just all over the place with their anger and their hatred and their racial slurs and all of this kind of stuff. All of that is not helping the situation at all because she had to follow the law. Now, this is what I want to say about this before I end this video. Black women are one of the most educated demographics in this country. When somebody is in trouble with the law, they have to go before somebody who knows how the law works. That takes an educated person. There's a lot of criticism of black women in politics, black women in the judicial system, black women in entertainment, black women in sports. Whatever black women are doing and doing well, they're coming up against criticism. There has been all of this talk and all of this animosity and anger towards black women who are judges, who are lawyers, who are whatever they're doing that are successful. That's been a lot of talk of that on social media. But then it comes down to the black woman being in position to make a decision. And that's happening more and more. And instead of tearing each other down, we ought to be lifting each other up because that young man deserved a fair shake, just like anybody else. She has not set him free. She just lowered the bail. He is under house arrest and he cannot leave home without her permission. There are some strict rules that go with him being at home with his parents. But I just believe that all of this animosity that are directed at these black women, all of this stuff needs to stop. This is very detrimental to the black American community. It took a courageous person to do this. And what needs to be pointed out is that this woman is a Republican. This is not a lefty, as they're calling the Democrats these days. This woman is a Republican. She ran for that position as a Republican, and she was elected as a Republican. And now they're trying to make it seem like she's ruling based on race. And the absurdity of some of these people is just astounding. But she had to rule based on the law, and that's what she did. Now she may not even get reelected another time around. But while she had the opportunity to do the right thing based on the law, she did that. So I think this woman should be commended, and other black people in positions like this who have the boldness to make these hard decisions like this, because it was difficult. It was difficult. There was pressure on her to not do this, but she did it anyway. So she should be commended. I want to know what y'all think about this, because I know I'm not the only one that's hearing all of this vitriol toward these women in particular, but it can be men too. Black men who are in positions to do something get criticized too. We just tearing each other down all the time. And then, if you don't like the job, if you think you can do a better job, then you need to get in that job. But this tearing each other down all the time, it really does need to stop. Okay, y'all, thank you for listening. Let me know what you think about the video. Give me a thumbs up and have a good evening.